With the changes to the European competitions taking effect this season, the League Cup has been directly impacted. We've seen a seeding system implemented for the first time in the competition, and the third round will take place over 2 separate weeks, so it works alongside the Champions League and Europa League fixtures. Not only were all the teams playing in Europe given a bye to the third round, but with the exception of Chelsea, they were kept apart in the draw too. Some people were unhappy with this, but for others it was seen as a greater opportunity to be drawn against one of the big teams in this competition. I don't really agree with shuffling the domestic competitions around for the sake of the big clubs' fixture congestion, but what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments, and please consider subscribing if you're enjoying my content so far. So here are my predictions for this week's third round matches, starting with tomorrow's games. And first up is Championship Stoke City against League 2 Fleetwood Town. And I think this one will be a straightforward win for the home side. Both are sitting in mid-table in their respective leagues at the moment, and with home advantage you'd have to back Stoke to win. So I'm going to say 2-0. Blackpool against Sheffield Wednesday should be a good game. Neither side's got off to the best start. Blackpool just above League One's relegation zone, while Wednesday are roughly the same in the Championship. With the league form poor on both sides, this will be a huge opportunity for one of these teams to kickstart their season, and I'm going for Sheffield Wednesday to win here. They've looked good in the League Cup so far, beating Hull City and Grimsby Town on the way to this stage, and I think they'll produce another away win here in an entertaining game. 3-2 to Wednesday. Next we have Premier League Brentford against League One strugglers Leyton Orient. Orient only managed their first league win at the weekend away to Reading, while Brentford have looked impressive in the Premier League. They might rest a few players, but I still think they'll be far too good for Orient, so I'm going to go 3-0 to Brentford. Everton against Southampton should be interesting. They've both got off to awful starts in the Premier League and don't have a single point between them. Southampton have struggled for goals in the Premier League, but managed 5 at Cardiff in the last round of this competition, while Everton don't seem to have an issue finding the net. It's conceding too many that's their problem at the moment. With both being so poor in the league, I think they'll both take this tie seriously, and as a result we'll get a good game. I think it'll finish a draw. I'm going to say 2-2, with Jordan Pickford being the hero in a penalty shootout. Preston v Fulham is another difficult one to predict, as it always is when you've got a Championship side with home advantage over a Premier League team. Preston have got off to a poor start, while Fulham have been indifferent, but at the same time I don't think they'll be troubled by the relegation battle this year. Will Fulham take this tie seriously? Well, they did against Birmingham when I thought they might lose. This is a difficult place to come, but I think Fulham win again, 1-0. Queen's Park Rangers against Crystal Palace has to be the pick of this week's games for me. London derbies are always tough, and Palace have had plenty of them already this season, and despite not playing badly, they haven't managed a league win yet. They did demolish Norwich in the last round, and I thought that one might be tricky. Loftus Road isn't an easy place to come, and QPR have already knocked out Luton in this competition. Crystal Palace have a lot of talent in that squad, and despite not winning in the league yet, they are creating chances, and I think they'll win this one, but it won't be as comfortable as the last round. 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Manchester United are the first of the seeded teams to play in the competition, and League One Barnsley had the benefit of that seeded draw. United have won 2 and lost 2 in the league, and Barnsley are just outside the playoff places in League One, but even if United put out a weakened team, they should win this one. Barnsley will give this one a go, of course, but United will win comfortably. I'm going to say 3-0, but it could be more if they put out their first team. And then taking us into Wednesday's games is Brighton against Wolves, and Brighton have made a great start to the Premier League season, while Wolves haven't. Brighton thrashed Crawley in the last round, while Wolves saw off a tricky Burnley team, and I think both of them will take the competition seriously this year. It's hard not to predict a Brighton win with how good they've been so far this season, so I'm going to play it safe and say that they win 2-0. Lastly, it's a very tricky tie for Tottenham away at Coventry. Coventry were a penalty shootout away from an appearance in the FA Cup final last year, and I think they'll be keen to put together another good cup run. They'll fancy their chances against Spurs at home. Tottenham can't afford to be complacent, but Coventry have struggled to find the back of the net this year. I think this all comes down to what sort of team Ange Postecoglou puts out. Tottenham will win this one if he fields a strong team, but with one eye on the Europa League, he might see it as an opportunity to give some game time to some of his fringe players. Coventry will have a chance, and I can see them being in the game until the very end, but Spurs will edge it, so Tottenham to win 1-0. So those are my predictions for this week's League Cup third round ties. Let me know yours in the comments, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.
Welcome to the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford. I'm Guy Mowbray to bring you commentary along with the former England forward Sue Smith. And everything is set up nicely to give us a really good match. Sue, what are your expectations from this?
Thanks, Guy. Well, I can't wait for this one. Both sets of fans are certainly up for it. I'm sure that'll give the players a real boost. They'll be hoping to start the game at a fast tempo.